Starter has the horses. The gate. Race 1, 9 starters. Horse Champ, Bayside Omega, Egyptian Broad, Burgundy Star, Cavan's Jimmer, Island Candy, JR Race Time, Irish Fog, and Flaming Grit. The rough and pacing Burgundy Star off the gate looks for the lead. Horse Champ moves up on the inside as they race to the turn. Flaming Grit now up into the number 3 spot. Outside 4 is Bayside Omega, then Egyptian Broad. As they head into the backstretch turn, Cavan's Jimmer is parked up on the extreme outside. By the 8th, they're on their way now to the quarter. Horse Champ leads by 2 lengths. Then Burgundy Star. Flaming Grit pacing 3. Egyptian Broad getting closer 4. Still outside Cavan's Jimmer. Along the rail is Bayside Omega, then Island Candy. They race by the quarter. JR Race Time sitting behind them, and trailing is Irish Fog. Opening quarter was 31 2/5. They move on to the upper turn. Setting the early fractions, leading by 1 length, is number 1, Horse Champ. He drives off the top. Getting a good trip behind him second, Burgundy Star. Up tight in 3, Flaming Grit. They're off the top turn. Racing through the stretch into the half. Your early leader, Horse Champ, is still there. Burgundy Star second. Flaming Grit follows up in 3. From the 4th spot, Egyptian Broad. Setting in 5, Bayside Omega. Island Candy moves up with Irish Fog on the outside. JR Race Time and Cavan's Jimmer. Half was in 104 and 4/5. They travel on to the 5/8 into the backstretch for the second time. Horse Champ is still there by 1. Then Burgundy Star. Flaming Grit. Here comes Egyptian Broad. Now up from the number 4 position. Bayside Omega's to the outside to follow. Island Candy along the rail. Burgundy Star coming quickly now to the outside. Drives on looking for the front and shows on top, but Horse Champ battles back with him. Going to the 3/4. Horse Champ and Burgundy Star side by side. Then Flaming Grit. 137. They're heading for the upper turn. Horse Champ now leads by a head. Racing on the outside, Burgundy Star. Flaming Grit holding on to 3. Island Candy looks to get out 4 and along the fence. Egyptian Broad is wide. They're off the turn. 1/8 to go, and here they come to the lane for home. Driving on top now by 1 is Horse Champ. They race to the lane. Island Candy moving up quickly now on the inside. They're battling through the lane. Horse Champ. Island Candy is closing fast. Racing under the wire. It's going to be Earl Smith winning win number 1,000 of his career with Horse Champ. Island Candy will be second. The mile 2:08 and 3. Race 1 is official from the top of your program. Horse Champ, your race winner. Bayside Omega finished 6th. Egyptian Broad 5. Burgundy Star 3rd. Cavan's Jimmer was 8. Island Candy 2. JR Race Time in... First race of the afternoon, Dusty's Robbie, Cavan's Jimmer, Glengarland, Island Candy, Flaming Grit, Grandig J, Egyptian Broad, Brett's Rocky. They're off facing Cavan's Jimmer off the gate. Moving up on the outside is Glengarland with Grandig J along the rail, Dusty's Robbie. They're moving to the 8th into the back stretch. Cavan's Jimmer moves up to take over the top. Glengarland parked on the outside. At the rail, Dusty's Robbie. As they head into the backstretch turn, setting 4 is Brett's Rocky, then Island Candy. They move on to the opening quarter. Glengarland getting up on the outside to challenge. Racing on top, Cavan's Jimmer. Glengarland is second and looks for the lead. Behind them, Dusty's Robbie racing 3, setting a length back in 4. Brett's Rocky, then Island Candy with Flaming Grit. From the number 7 spot is Egyptian Broad, and treading now Grandig J. The opening quarter was 31 2/5. They move on to the top turn, setting the early fractions. Cavan's Jimmer leading by 1. Settling into 2 is Glengarland. Dusty's Robbie takes a look from 3. They're off the turn. Brett's Rocky now looks to the outside from 4. Following him is Island Candy, then Flaming Grit. From the back, Egyptian Broad and Grandig J. Coming past the halfway point, Cavan's Jimmer still off the top with Glengarland. Moving up, Brett's Rocky. Half 105 and 1/5. They travel on now to the 5/8, moving into the backstretch for the second time. And still leading, Cavan's Jimmer, Glengarland, Brett's Rocky on the outside. Island Candy moving up. As they head into the backstretch, Brett's Rocky's rough on the outside. They're on their way to the 3/4. Cavan's Jimmer steps away by 2 lengths over Glengarland. Brett's Rocky back at it on the outside. Island Candy out and following him. Dropping back, Dusty's Robbie. Here's Flaming Grit now moving. They go by the 3/4. Cavan's Jimmer takes them there in 1:37 1/5. They continue now to the upper turn, and it's Cavan's Jimmer by 1.5. Glengarland is second. Moving up on the outside, Island Candy and Brett's Rocky. They swing off the top turn, and here they come into the stretch. They're on their way home. Cavan's Jimmer leads still by 1.5. Brett's Rocky coming back up on the outside with Island Candy. Glengarland is to the center. They're traveling through the stretch and to the wire. Cavan's Jimmer, Glengarland moving up. At the wire, it'll be Cavan's Jimmer, Glengarland, and Brett's Rocky to mile and 2:10. Times 31:02, 1:05 1, 1:37 and the mile in 2:10. Upcoming races 2 and 3, your daily double. First race of the afternoon, Renfield Girl, Brigade Star, Scotch Lady S, Darling Horatio, Glengarland, Cavan's Jimmer, HR, Iroquois, and Island Candy. Here they come. They're off and pacing as they get away out on the outside. Cavan's Jimmer with Glengarland in the center. Renfield Girl drives at the rail. They're moving up to the 8th and into the back stretch, and Renfield Girl now shows on top. Parked outside, Cavan's Jimmer second. He moves up and takes over the top spot. Into the back stretch turn, Cavan's Jimmer now leading by an open length. From 2, Renfield Girl. Brigade starts, sets 3. Glengarland driving in the number 4 spot. Then comes Scotch Lady S. Following Scotch Lady S is Darling Horatio, with HR Iroquois, and Island Candy is at the tail end of the field. They move by the quarter, heading now to the upper turn, still with a lead of 1 length. Showing on top is number 6, Cavan's Jimmer. Renfield Girl gets a good trip second. Tied up in the number 3 position is Brigade Star. Glengarland driving in 4, length back sitting in 5. Is Scotch Lady S. Moving up on the outside as they head off the top turn and through the lane. Darling Horatio is moving. They're passing the halfway point, and Glengarland steps to the outside. Brigade Star also out and moving. Up by the halfway point, Cavan's Jimmer takes the field to the half, then Brigade Star. They were by the half in 1:05 3/5. They move on to the 5/8. Into the backstretch they go for the second and final time. Cavan's Jimmer still there. Out on the outside is Brigade Star. Renfield Girl along the rails. Scotch Lady S is moving closer. Off stride, Glengarland and Darling Horatio through the backstretch as they continue on to the 3/4. Cavan's Jimmer with Brigade Star outside. Renfield Girl looks to get out. Scotch Lady S within striking distance has 4. HR Iroquois moves up. They race on to the 7/8. Cavan's Jimmer holds on by a length. Brigade Star is still out there. Renfield Girl is looking for room up through the center. Scotch Lady S gets closer in 4. They're off the turn. Here comes Island Candy racing into the lane as they drive on home. Cavan's Jimmer takes them off the turn and through the stretch. Brigade Star. Renfield Girl closes up on the inside. Here they come through the stretch as they drive on home. Under the wire, it'll be Renfield Girl, Cavan's Jimmer, and Scotch Lady S. Race 1, 9 entries, Mitty Senator, Tammy's Dandy, Maximilian Fenway, Dusty Robbie, Van Way Lucky, Opinions Harmony, Scotch Lady S, What a Beauty, and Cavan's Jimmer. Here they come. They're off and pacing. Maximilian Fenway gets out quickly to grab the lead. Van Way Lucky is up on the outside second as they go to the first turn. Your leader and showing on top now is Maximilian Fenway. Racing up second, Van Way Lucky. They make the turn into the backstretch, coming in along the rail. It's Mitty Senator. They're heading through the backstretch turn. They're on their way to the quarter. Maximilian Fenway leads by a length. Driving second is Van Way Lucky. As they head for the opening quarter, Mitty Senator paces in along the rail. Up on the outside is Opinions Harmony as they race by the opening quarter. They get by the quarter, racing on now to the upper turn. Setting the early fractions and leading now by 2 lengths, Maximilian Fenway. Driving in 2 is Van Way Lucky. The rest of the field back 4 lengths as they head off the top turn. They're coming into the stretch for the half. No change up front. It's still Maximilian Fenway. Now starting to catch up in 2 is Van Way Lucky. Mitty Senator with Cavan's Jimmer now to the outside as they pass the halfway point. Maximilian Fenway leads by 2 lengths. Van Way Lucky second. Cavan's Jimmer with Mitty Senator. Driving 5 is Tammy's Dandy. Penion's Harmony in along the rate. The half was in 105 and 2/5 into the backstretch turn. They're on their way now to the 3/4. It's still Maximilian Fenway showing on top. Cavan's Jimmer is moving up now, second on the outside with Van Way Lucky. Mitty Senator gets a little closer in 4. Tammy's Dandy's parked in the outside. As they go to the 3/4 pole, Maximilian Fenway now steps away by 3 lengths. Driving by there, Cavan's Jimmer is second. Tammy's Dandy coming up on the extreme outside. Van Way Lucky. Mitty Senator looks to get out along the rail. As they arrive at the top of the stretch, they make the turn for home. Leading off the top turn and into the stretch, Maximilian Fenway still there by 3. Cavan's Jimmer is second. As they head off the top turn, they're racing through the stretch, and here they come to the wire. Maximilian Fenway taking them home with Cavan's Jimmer. Tammy's Dandy's moving up on the outside. As they battle through the stretch, Opinion's Harmony starts to close. At the wire, Maximilian Fenway, Opinion's Harmony, Tammy's Dandy. Half 105 and 2, 3/4 in 137 and 2, racing the mile. First race, JR Race Time, Opinion's Harmony, Memory Best. Cavan's Jimmer, Glengale Mate, Brigani Star, David Sorrell, and Van Way Lucky. They're off. Cavan's Jimmer off the gate looks for the lead. Moving up on the outside, Brigani Star. JR Race Time is at the rail, then Opinion's Harmony. Memory Best follows them into the turn. Moving up into the 6th spot is David Sorrell. Into the backstretch, they're heading now for the quarter. Cavan's Jimmer is now moving up to take over the top. JR Race Time second. Brigani Star settles quickly into 3. Opinion's Harmony is tied up in 4. Memory Best has the 5 spot. Racing 6, Glengale Mate. Then Van Way Lucky off stride and trailing is David Sorrell. By the quarter, 31 seconds. They continue on to the upper turn. Leading by 1 open length is number 4, Cavan's Jimmer. In behind him, JR Race Time. Then Brigani Star. Opinion's Harmony pacing 4. Memory Best is sitting 5. Swinging off the top turn and through the stretch, they're coming up in front of the grandstand of the half. Opinion's Harmony looks to the outside. It's Cavan's Jimmer still there by 1. JR Race Time. Opinion's Harmony gains 3 outside. Then Brigani Star. Memory Best moves out to follow. In against the fence as they pass the half is Glengale Mate. Van Way Lucky moves up, and David Sorrell half in 104. They continue on by the 5/8 into the backstretch. They go for the second time. Cavan's Jimmer's still there. JR Race Time, Brigani Star, Opinion's Harmony's outside. Memory Best follows her. Looking for room, Van Way Lucky, Glengale Mate, and David Sorrell well back out of contention. As they pass the 3/4, Opinion's Harmony coming once again up on the outside. Now 3. Now takes over the 2 spot. She's after Cavan's Jimmer. He leads in 135 and 3. They go to the top turn. Cavan's Jimmer outside and still gaining Opinion's Harmony. Brigani Star moving out. They're off the turn. JR Race Time along the rail. Here they come now through the stretch. Cavan's Jimmer, Opinion's Harmony, JR Race Time with Brigani Star. They battle through the stretch. Way outside is Memory Best, and here they come home, racing down to the wire. It's going to be Cavan's Jimmer, Opinion's Harmony, Brigani Star. Mile was 2:07. Race 7, 8 starters at the top of the stretch. Land Ranger, Orr's Champ, Tycoon Orr. Dick Standy, Maximilian Fenway, Cavan's Jimmer, Fancy Cash, and Lillian Dodger. Here they come. They're off. Cavan's Jimmer out quickly with Maximilian Fenway. Driving along the rail is Land Ranger. Into the first turn. They're 3 deep. Land Ranger comes out of it on top. Maximilian Fenway up on the outside. Cavan's Jimmer going wide into the backstretch turn, and he now takes over the top. They move up to the quarter. Cavan's Jimmer showing on top. Land Ranger second. Maximilian Fenway up 3 outside. Now takes over the number 2 spot. Orr's Champ sits in behind that group with Dick Standy pacing along the rail 5. There by the opening quarter, 29 3/5. They move on to the top turn. Cavan's Jimmer leads by a length. As they arrive at the 3/8 turn, it's Cavan's Jimmer up front. Maximilian Fenway settling into 2. Land Ranger pacing along the rail 3. Then Orr's Champ 4. Dick Standy has 5, with Tycoon Orr in behind them. Through the stretch, they race on to the halfway point. It's Cavan's Jimmer taking the field to the half. Still there second is Maximilian Fenway. Land Ranger pacing up 3. Orr's Champ is 4. There goes Dick Standy. Tycoon Orr's moving. Fancy Cashing on the inside. Lillian Dodger. Half was in 102 1/5. They travel on to the 5/8. Into the backstretch for the second time, led by Cavan's Jimmer. He holds a 1-length lead. Up tight in 2, Maximilian Fenway. Land Ranger sitting 3. Dick Standy parked outside. Orr's Champ along the rail looks to get out. Lillian Dodger's moving up. As they race by the 3/4, Cavan's Jimmer by a half a length. Maximilian Fenway out on the outside. Then Land Ranger. Orr's Champ moves up 133 1/5. They travel to the top turn. Cavan's Jimmer holds off a bit on the outside by Maximilian Fenway. They're at the 7/8 turning for home. Orr's Champ moving up. They're off the turn into the lane. 1/8 left to go. Cavan's Jimmer still there. Maximilian Fenway up on the outside. They travel through the stretch to the wire. Cavan's Jimmer, Maximilian Fenway. Up through the center is Land Ranger as they come onto the wire. It'll be Land Ranger, Cavan's Jimmer, and Lillian Dodger gets up for 3. The mile was 2:07 1. Third race, Peter Pokey, Rob's Joy, Cavan's Jimmer, Chicory Kate, Tycoon Orr, Pollyanna G, and Cloudy Lady. They're off and pacing. Cavan's Jimmer off the gate first. Chicory Kate moves up on the outside. Pacing along the rail as they go into the first turn is Peter Pokey. Pollyanna G moves up sharply into the number 4 spot. They're heading into the backstretch. Rob's Joy now 5. They're on their way to the quarter. Cavan's Jimmer off the top leads by 1 length. Chicory Kate is second. A length and a half back from 3, Peter Pokey. Pollyanna G driving in 4, then Rob's Joy from the number 5 position. They go to the opening quarter. Tycoon Orr sits along the rail in 6, and trailing is Cloudy Lady. They're by the first quarter in 31 seconds. They move on to the top turn. Cavan's Jimmer still up front, holding on to the lead. As they move off the 3/8 turn into the stretch, racing second is Chicory Kate. Closing up the gap, 3, Peter Pokey, followed by Pollyanna G, 4. Tycoon Orr now going to the outside. They race through the stretch for the first time up to the halfway point. Cavan's Jimmer is still there. Chicory Kate enjoys a good trip second. Pollyanna G is on the move on the outside. Against the fence, Peter Pokey. Tycoon Orr moves up. Rob's Joy. And still at the back, Cloudy Lady. Half in 103 1/5. They travel up to the 5/8. Into the back stretch they go for the second time. Cavan's Jimmer by 1. Racing second, Chicory Kate outside and continuing to gain ground is Pollyanna G. Tycoon Orr moves up to follow. Peter Pokey looks to get out along the rail. Through the backstretch, racing now to the 3/4, Cavan's Jimmer. Pollyanna G up to challenge on the outside. Tycoon Orr within striking distance moves on for 3. Chicory Kate in along the fence, 134 3/5. They battle on to the upper turn. Cavan's Jimmer by a half. Racing outside the challengers, Pollyanna G. Tycoon Orr following her. Looking for racing room is Chicory Kate. Off the turn, 1/8 to go, and here they come through the stretch. Cavan's Jimmer takes them home. Pollyanna G is back up on the outside to challenge once again. And coming up wide, Tycoon Orr, they race to the lane. Under the wire, it's going to be Tycoon Orr, Pollyanna G. It's close for 3. Looks like Cavan's Jimmer. The mile was 2:06 and 3. Rebello Chip finished 6th. OB's Moya Mile, the winner. Windy Bay Bomber 4th. Glengal Skipper was 5. Lingan Chan. Fifth race, 7 starters. Hornby Keith, Opinions Harmony, Dick Standy, Pollyanna G, Cavan's Jimmer, Filthy Rich, and Squire Sam. Here they come. They're off. Cavan's Jimmer off the gate with Pollyanna G moving up through the center. Hornby Keith in along the rail. Racing into the first turn, Pollyanna G outside. Cavan's Jimmer now steps on to take over the top. They go by the 8th into the backstretch. Cavan's Jimmer leading by a length. Pollyanna G second, then Hornby Keith. Opinions Harmony drives up into the number 4 spot. Sitting at 5 is Dick Standy. They go through the backstretch to the quarter. Racing in 6 is Filthy Rich. At the back, Squire Sam. By the quarter pole, Cavan's Jimmer taking the field up to the quarter, gets them there in 30 and 4/5. They travel now to the upper turn. Cavan's Jimmer by 1 length. Pollyanna G enjoys a good trip second. Racing 3 lengths in back of them, Hornby Keith. Opinions Harmony is now up into 4 as they swing off the top turn. Here they come through the stretch. Squire Sam moves from the tail end. Front of the grandstand to the halfway point, number 5 leading, Cavan's Jimmer. Still has it by 1 over Pollyanna G, then Hornby Keith. Outside, Squire Sam moving up. Racing at the rail, Opinions Harmony. There goes Filthy Rich, and Dick Standy's now trailing. Half 103 and 3/5. On they go to the 5/8, moving into the backstretch for the second and final time. Cavan's Jimmer, Pollyanna G, Hornby Keith. Way outside and coming on, Squire Sam. Filthy Rich gains 5, then Opinions Harmony and Dick Standy. Moving up the backstretch, racing now to the 3/4. Cavan's Jimmer, there goes Pollyanna G to the outside as they race by the 3/4 pole. Cavan's Jimmer and Pollyanna G side by side, getting by there. 134 and 4. They move on to the top turn. Cavan's Jimmer by a head. Pollyanna G out there second. Now Squire Sam takes over 3. Hornby Keith racing 4. They're off the top turn into the stretch, and here they come home. Cavan's Jimmer coming back on against Pollyanna G as they battle head-to-head through the lane. Pollyanna G now takes over. Cavan's Jimmer. Squire Sam is closing quickly on the outside. They race through the lane and to the wire. It'll be Pollyanna G. Cavan's Jimmer holds on for 2 and finishing 3rd, Squire Sam. Time of the mile was 2:06 and 4. Third race, SJ's Pride, Hornby Keith, Orr's Champ, Bullet Almahurst, Cavan's Jimmer, Lillian Dodger, Island Douglas, striking success. From the back, Becky Blenheim. Here they come. They're off. Cavan's Jimmer off the gate first. Orr's Champ moves up through the center, racing at the rail, SJ's Pride, then Hornby Keith. As they move now into the backstretch, year leader SJ's Pride. Cavan's Jimmer second outside, keeps on going. He now takes over the top. Into the backstretch turn. Cavan's Jimmer now leads the field, racing from 2 SJ's Pride. Sitting along the wood, Orr's Champ. Hornby Keith follows up, then Island Douglas as they move to the opening quarter. Taking the field up to the quarter, Cavan's Jimmer is off the top and has it by 1 length. Getting a good trip behind him, SJ's Pride. Tied up in 3, Orr's Champ, then Hornby Keith with Island Douglas. They move up to the 3/8 turn. Cavan's Jimmer now steps away by 1 open length. Off the top turn and racing through the stretch. Driving up to the half. Cavan's Jimmer is still there over SJ's Pride. In behind them, Orr's Champ paces 3. Hornby Keith takes a look at them 4. 5 at the rail for Island Douglas. Looking to the outside as they pass the halfway point is striking success. Then Lillian Dodger, followed by Becky Blenheim and Bullet Almahurst. They were by the half in 104. Into the backstretch they go for the second time. Out and moving, Hornby Keith. As they race past the 5/8, they're on their way to the 3/4. Cavan's Jimmer still there by 1. SJ's Pride second. Hornby Keith gains ground, now shows 3. Oars Champ is 4 at the rail. Striking Success moves up 5, and here comes Island Douglas now out of the number 6 spot. They race by the 3/4. Cavan's Jimmer holding on to the top. Hornby Keith. Here comes Island Douglas way on the outside. Striking Success is in the center. They go to the top turn. As they arrive at the top of the stretch, Cavan's Jimmer, Hornby Keith on the outside. Island Douglas keeps moving and gaining ground. Off the top turn, they're 4 wide as they race through the lane. Hornby Keith moving up to the front. Island Douglas closing quickly on the outside, and here comes Oars Champ as they battle through the stretch. Under the wire, it's going to be Hornby Keith, Island Douglas, and through the center, Striking Success. Just a reminder, always hold your tickets until the result becomes official. Friends of harness. Seventh race, Cloudy Lady, Archer Alert, Becky Blenheim, Cavan's Jimmer, Squire Sam, SJ's Pride, Bullet Almahurst, Miramichilu, and Chicory Kate from the back. They're off and pacing. Cavan's Jimmer off the gate first. Squire Sam moves up on the outside with SJ's Pride wide. Taking the 4th spot is Archer Alert as they race into the first turn. Off the top, Cavan's Jimmer. Squire Sam is second. SJ's Pride into 3. Archer Alert racing from 4. Sitting behind them is Cloudy Lady. Gaining ground out on the outside, Miramichilu now up and takes the number 5 spot as they go to the opening quarter. SJ's Pride now from 3 to the outside, gets up second, and after the top, Cavan's Jimmer leads the field. By the quarter, 30 4/5, Cavan's Jimmer, SJ's Pride outside, is second and looks for the front. Squire Sam enjoys it behind them 3. Archer Alert pacing from 4. Miramichilu gaining ground in 5. They're off the top turn. Cloudy Lady has the number 6 spot with Chicory Kate 7. The other 2 are back 3 lengths. Here they come through the stretch to the half. Cavan's Jimmer still there by a length. Outside, SJ's Pride is second. Squire Sam at the rail. Then Archer Alert, Miramichilu is moving up. Cloudy Lady follows. Then comes Chicory Kate with Becky Blenheim and Bullet Almahurst. They were by the half, 102 3/5. Moving out in the extreme outside is Miramichilu. She's now up for 3. And into the back stretch they go. Cavan's Jimmer, Squire Sam, Miramichilu. On the inside is Archer Alert. He's rough and off stride momentarily as they move up to the 3/4 pole. Squire Sam coming on the outside is looking for the front. It's Squire Sam on the inside. Cavan's Jimmer. They're stride for stride. Miramichilu behind them 3. Then Archer Alert 4. 134 1/5. They race to the upper turn. Squire Sam now moves up to take over the top. Miramichilu out and after him. They're off the top turn, and here they come through the stretch. Squire Sam, Cavan's Jimmer still at the rail. Outside, Miramichilu. They're driving through the lane for home. Archer Alert coming up wide on the outside, racing through the stretch and to the wire. As they come to the wire, it's going to be Squire Sam winning it. Archer Alert, and Cavan's Jimmer comes back on for 3. Mile was 2:06 1/5. Owned by Ron Heffler and Vince Ryan, driven by Gary. Race 1, Archer Alert, Cavan's Jimmer, Lillian Dodger, Devlin B, Miramichilu, Dick Standy, Island Douglas, Scales Prize on the outside. The trailer, Nectar's Choice. Here they come. They're off and pacing as they get away out quickly. Devlin B looks for the lead. Cavan's Jimmer's up through the center. Dick Standy way outside. Driving in along the rail, Archer Alert. They go up now to the 8th into the back stretch, and your leader, Cavan's Jimmer, has it by a length. Dick Standy out on the outside. Racing along the wood is Archer Alert. Settling for 4 is Devlin B. They move up the back stretch. Nectar's Choice is pacing from 5, then Lillian Dodger, followed by Miramichilu. Island Douglas has the number 8 spot as they arrive at the quarter. Your trailer's Gale's Prize. Cavan's Jimmer takes them to the quarter, 31 seconds. They continue on now to the upper turn. Racing second, Our Charlotte. Tied up in 3 is Dick Standy. In the 4th spot, Devlin B. They move off the top turn. Here they come in front of the grandstand. Cavan's Jimmer still has it by a length. Getting a good trip behind him second, Our Charlotte. They're off the turn through the lane up to the halfway point. Taking a look from 3 is Dick Standy. Passing the halfway point, Devlin B. has 4. Nectar's Choice 5. There goes Lillian Dodger. Moving out is Island Douglas. Coming with them, Gale's Prize and Miramichi Lou. Half was 104 and 2/5. Lillian Dodger gaining ground out on the outside. They move on to the 5/8. Into the backstretch, Cavan's Jimmer still there by 1 length. Our Charlotte is second. Dick Standy paces 3. Now Lillian Dodger takes over 3. As they move up the backstretch, Island Douglas follows 5. As they go to the 3/4 pole, Cavan's Jimmer holding on by a length. Lillian Dodger now outside is second. Racing in along the wood, Our Charlotte. Island Douglas moves up 4. Dick Standy drops back 5. Nectar's Choice looked for room. By the 3/4, 136 and 2/5. They continue on to the upper turn. Cavan's Jimmer tries to hold on. Lillian Dodger pushing on the outside with Island Douglas still there 3. They're off the turn into the stretch, and here they come now for home. Your leader, Cavan's Jimmer, Lillian Dodger, Island Douglas closing up way on the outside. They're racing through the lane and to the wire. Lillian Dodger, Island Douglas outside, up through the center, Our Charlotte. As they come onto the wire, it's going to be Island Douglas, close for second and third. It could go either way between Cavan's Jimmer and Our Charlotte. We'll wait for the picture, the mile 2:08 and 4. Miramichi Lou, 5. Dick Standy, 7th. Island Douglas, the winner. Gale's Pearl was 7th. Island Notice finished 5th. Scotch Go Easy Scratch, Pollyanna G, 3rd. Wayne's Maid was scratched. Brookside Blaze, the winner. Old Time Robbie was... Ninth race, 9 entries. Dick Standy, Cloudy Lady, Devlin B, Cavan's Jimmer, Lillian Dodger, Becky Blenheim, River Valley's Kelly, Playboys in the outside of the trailer, Miramichi Lou. They're up, and Cavan's Jimmer gets off the gate first, looking for the lead up through the centers. Devlin B driving in along the rail. Dick Standy. They're 3 wide as they move up past the 8th into the backstretch. Dick Standy comes out of it on top. Devlin B settles in behind him for second. Racing outside and now driving on is Cavan's Jimmer. Miramichi Lou has 4. Playboy racing from the 5 spot. Well back in 6 is Cloudy Lady. Then comes Lillian Dodger as they arrive at the quarter. Becky Blenheim has the number 8 spot and trailing River Valley's Kaylee. First quarter, a quick 29 and 3/5. Cavan's Jimmer out on the outside, showing on top, now leads by 1 length. Dick Standy racing second. Uptight in 3, Devlin B. Miramichi Lou gets a look at them 4. Playboy has the number 5 spot as they move off the top turn. Moving in front of the grandstand now to the halfway point. Still up front, Cavan's Jimmer. Devlin B goes to the outside. He's second. And looking for the front end, Miramichi Lou moves out to follow. Half 101 and 2/5. They travel on to the 5/8. Devlin B looking for the lead. Cavan's Jimmer along the rail battles back. Miramichi Lou pacing up 3 outside. Then Dick Standy 4. Playboy has 5, catching up 6, Cloudy Lady. Lillian Dodger goes to the outside. From the back of the field, River Valley's Kaylee and Becky Blenheim. They race through the backstretch. On their way now to the 3/4, they start to close up. As they drive by the 3/4 pole, Devlin B, Miramichi Lou, way out on the outside, is coming on looking for the top. They get by the 3/4 in 1:33 and 3/5. Miramichi Lou now has the front. Playboy getting wound up, moves to the outside from 3. He's now second. Lillian Dodger moving up. River Valley's Kaylee way outside. Cloudy Lady. Becky Blenheim coming with a rush from the back. They're off the turn, and here they come home. Miramichi Lou leading through the lane. Playboy is up on the outside as they come on home. They're not going to catch Miramichi Lou as they race down to the wire. Miramichi Lou will win it, finishing second. Becky Blenheim. Looks like Playboy for the show spot will have to get a picture. Mile was 2:07. Finding the time of the mile, 2:07 and 3/5 for Tracy's Choice. English Dream You race better. They're off and pacing. Tracy's Choice off the gate looks for the lead. Glen Gallan up on the outside. Cavan's Jimmer along the rail. Devlin B moving out on the extreme outside with Dick Standy moving up. Up by the 8th, into the backstretch they go. They're heading for the quarter, and off the top, Cavan's Jimmer now leads by a length. Racing second, Tracy's Choice. Dick Standy holds down the number 3 spot. Outside is Devlin B. Along the rail, Glen Gallan as they move on to the opening quarter. Racing in front at the quarter, Cavan's Jimmer takes the field there. Getting a good trip second, Tracy's Choice. By there in 30 seconds flat as they drive on now to the upper turn. Cavan's Jimmer leading by 1. Tracy's Choice second with Dick Standy. Then Devlin B with Glen Gallan. Glen Galmate follows them. They move off the top turn into the stretch as they approach the halfway point. Here they come in front of the grandstand, and your leader is still number 1, Cavan's Jimmer. Driving from the 2 spot, Tracy's Choice. Back to the outside comes Devlin B, then Dick Standy. Moving up from the back, Glen Galmate. Glen Gallan's along the rail. Brett's Rocky out and moving, and your trailer, JR Race Time, the half, 1:03 1/5. Traveling on now to the 5/8. Into the backstretch they go for the second time. Cavan's Jimmer still there. Devlin B parked outside second. Tracy's Choice, Glen Galmate. Dick Standy along the rail. Into the backstretch turn, heading for the 3/4. Cavan's Jimmer still off the top. Devlin B parked outside a second. Then Tracy's Choice. Glen Galmate moves up, looking for the number 3 spot. They go by the 3/4 pole. Cavan's Jimmer holding on by a length in 1:34 3/5. They travel now to the upper turn. Your leader, Cavan's Jimmer. Devlin B is still out there second and now comes back on. They swing off the top turn into the lane for home. It's Cavan's Jimmer. Devlin B keeps edging up on the outside, second now by a quarter of a length, and here they come through the lane. Devlin B outside, Cavan's Jimmer. Moving up now, Glen Galmate is coming on as they race it out through the stretch to the wire. Devlin B, Tracy's Choice up through the center. At the wire, it's going to be Tracy's Choice. Close for second. It's between Glen Galmate and Devlin B. Mile was 2:07 3. Upcoming the Daily Double on races 2 and 3. In the second race, there's also Exactor and Win Place and Show Wagering. Windows. Race 1, 5 starters, Tomwood Candy, Napa 1, Cavan's Jimmer, Fancy Cash, and Victor Skipper on the outside, and here they come. They're off and pacing as they get away, looking for the early lead. Cavan's Jimmer, Victor Skipper's up on the outside, Fancy Cash and Tomwood Candy at the rail. They go to the 8th into the backstretch. Tomwood Candy leads by 1 length. Cavan's Jimmer parked outside for 2. Racing in along the rail, 3 is Fancy Cash, then Victor Skipper 4. Driving at the back of the field as they move up to the quarter is Napa 1. They race by the quarter and Tomwood Candy takes them there. Cavan's Jimmer is still outside. They get by the quarter, 29 2/5. Tomwood Candy the leader. Cavan's Jimmer races second outside and challenges for the front. Fancy Cash enjoys it behind them 3. Then a length back and setting 4 is Victor Skipper. And your trailer, Napa 1. They move off the top turn, racing through the stretch first time, coming up to the halfway point. And it's Tomwood Candy and Cavan's Jimmer still side by side. Fancy Cash racing in along the rail. Victor Skipper moves out from 4. And Napa 1 is trailing, reaching the half, 1:01 2/5. They continue on to the 5/8, moving into the backstretch for the second time. As they head by the 5/8 marker, Tomwood Candy is still there. Cavan's Jimmer outside. Victor Skipper follows him. Fancy Cash at the rail. And catching up Napa 1. They go by the 5/8 through the backstretch. And Victor Skipper now moving up on the outside. Comes on to show on top. Victor Skipper now leading. Tomwood Candy is second. Fancy Cash holds on to 3. Cavan's Jimmer drops back. Napa 1 moving up. 3/4 and 1:34. They travel on to the upper turn. And your leader is Victor Skipper. Here comes Fancy Cash to the outside. Arriving at the 7/8, turning for home, Victor Skipper by 3 lengths. Fancy Cash out on the outside is second. Tomwood Candy holding on to 3. Napa 1 moves up 4. As they race through the stretch, they're coming home. Victor Skipper, Fancy Cash closing quickly on the outside. Driving through the lane, and Fancy Cash moves up to take over. Racing to the wire, it'll be Fancy Cash, Victor Skipper, and Tom Wood Candy to mile 206 and 4. Eleventh race, Tom Wood Candy traveling Sailor Napa 1, Glengale Mate, Cavan's Jimmer, Brett Sniff, David Sorrell, Rothman's Queen, from the back, Jack Dumb. Here they come. They're off. Tom Wood Candy on the inside, and Cavan's Jimmer moves up quickly on the outside. Glengale Mate's in the center. Jack Dumb along the rail. Going now to the 8th into the back stretch. Cavan's Jimmer parked on the outside is looking for the top spot. Tom Wood Candy now racing second at the rail. Jack Dumb is following them. Up on the outside is Brett Sniff. They're heading through the backstretch to the opening quarter. Traveling Sailor sits in the number 5 position. As they arrive at the quarter, Glengale Mate is on the outside. Racing past the quarter pole. As they drive by there in 30 4/5, Brett Sniff getting up quickly on the outside. Now comes to the front. Cavan's Jimmer is second. Behind them 3 is Tom Wood Candy. They move off the top turn and into the stretch. They approach the half. Jack Dumb back up into the number 4 spot. Glengale Mate is out on the outside. As they swing off the turn through the lane, they're driving up to the halfway point with Brett Sniff leading the field by 1 length. Holding on to 2, Cavan's Jimmer. Racing behind them 3, Tom Wood Candy, then Jack Dumb. Glengale Mate is outside. Traveling Sailor. Rothman's Queen is out and on the move. Napa 1 moves from the tail end, and David Sorrell is at the rail. Half in 103. They go to the 5/8 into the backstretch for the second time. Still with the front, it's Brett Sniff holding on to the top. Cavan's Jimmer second, then Tom Wood Candy goes to the outside from 3. Jack Dumb follows in 4. Traveling Sailor also moving up with David Sorrell on the inside. Racing past the 3/4, Tom Wood Candy moves on to take over the top. Jack Dumb parked on the outside is now up second. By the 3/4 in 135 4, Traveling Sailor's moving, and David Sorrell way on the outside. They go to the top turn. Tom Wood Candy now by 1 open length. Jack Dumb second. David Sorrell moves up quickly with Traveling Sailor. They're off the turn and coming through the stretch. Racing for home, Tom Wood Candy leads the field through the lane. As they drive through the stretch, Jack Dumb up on the outside. They battle it out through the stretch and to the wire. Under the wire, it's close. It's between Tom Wood Candy and Jack Dumb. Looks like David Sorrell for the show spot. Lehigh Star, 6th. Good Clean Fun, 4th. Star Bingo was 7th. Cameron Brent, 8th. Smoke Damage, 3rd. Tenth and final race of the evening, Spirit Tad, Brett Sniff, Cavan's Jimmer, Traveling Sailor, Nectar's Choice, Renfield Girl, Island Candy. From the back tier, Pine Bud Richard. They're at the top of the stretch, and here they come. They're off. Spirit Tad on the inside. Renfield Girl moving out strong. Traveling Sailors in the center, and Pine Bud Richard moves up. They go to the turn. Spirit Tad has the top. Traveling Sailor second outside, now moves up to challenge. Racing in behind them is Pine Bud Richard. Renfield Girl parked and driving on the outside, moving up from 4. Into the backstretch turn. They're heading now to the opening quarter, and Traveling Sailor moves on to the top. Renfield Girl now up second. At the rail is Spirit Tad. Pine Bud Richard is going to the outside as they pass the quarter pole. Getting by the quarter, they arrive there in 32 1/5. Traveling Sailor on top. Renfield Girl. Pine Bud Richard is out and moving. They race on now to the top turn. Spirit Tad sits in the number 4 spot. Swinging off the upper turn, here they come through the stretch as they drive by the halfway point. On top as they move through the lane, showing the way as they pass the half. Traveling Sailor with Pine Bud Richard outside and challenging for the front end. Renfield Girl moving up on the outside as they come by the grandstand is Brett Sniff. Here comes Nectar's Choice now from 6. Spirit Tattle on the rail. Cavan's Jimmer and Island Candy. The half was in 104 3/5. Into the backstretch turn. They're on their way now to the three-quarters. Traveling Sailor is still leading. Traveling Sailor on top. Hanging tough on the outside is Pine Bud Richard. Brett's Nymph is moving up for 3. Nectar's Choice out on the outside is following them. Renfield Girl drops back along the rail. Pine Bud Richard now to the top. Brett's Nymph coming up on the outside with Nectar's Choice moving. 136 and 4/5. They continue on to the top turn. Pine Bud Richard, Brett's Nymph outside. Here comes Nectar's Choice now driving on 3 wide. At the top of the stretch, they're turning for home, and Nectar's Choice coming quickly on the outside, racing through the lane as they drive on home. It's Nectar's Choice closing up quickly on the outside as they battle through the stretch. Brett's Nymph comes back on. Racing Renfield Girl is closing. At the wire, it's going to be Nectar's Choice. Looks like Renfield Girl, and on the inside, Pine Bud Richard. The mile was 2:10 and 1/5. Fourth race, Pine Bud Richard, Brett's Nymph, Cavan's Jimmer, Good Front, Tracy's Choice, Forcefield, and Spirit Tad on the outside. They're off. Forcefield out quickly. Tracy's Choice in the center, driving along the rail as they go to the turn as Pine Bud Richard. Moving up through the middle, Tracy's Choice takes the top. Forcefield is still out there. Pine Bud Richard moving up second. As they head into the backstretch turn, Brett's Nymph along the rail has the number 4 spot, followed then by Cavan's Jimmer. They go through the backstretch turn on their way to the quarter. Forcefield moves up sharp on the outside and comes on now for the front. Racing behind them second, Tracy's Choice, tied up in 3, Pine Bud Richard. From 4, Brett's Nymph. Then Cavan's Jimmer, reaching the quarter, 30 and 3. Good Front has the number 6 spot, and at the back is Spirit Tad. Moving on to the 3/8 turn and into the stretch. It's number 6, Forcefield, setting the fractions and leading by 1 open length. Driving in the number 2 spot off the turn is Tracy's Choice. They race through the stretch to the halfway point. Forcefield is still there. Tracy's Choice from 2. Sitting behind them 3, Pine Bud Richard. 4, and looking to the outside is Brett's Nymph. At the rail, Cavan's Jimmer. Good Front going wide. And still trailing by here is Spirit Tad, the half in 104. Moving on to the 5/8 turn, into the backstretch for the second and final time. It's still Forcefield. Tracy's Choice. Cavan's Jimmer looks for room. Here's Pine Bud Richard out of the outside, moving up. Brett's Nymph moves out to follow as they drive on to the 3/4. Looking for the lead on the outside, and taking it is Pine Bud Richard. He's now out of the front. Brett's Nymph following him outside. Good Front is also moving up. Dropping back a bit is Forcefield. Cavan's Jimmer along the rail. By there in 135 and 3/5. They continue on to the top turn. And leading as they arrive at the 7/8, Pine Bud Richard. Brett's Nymph is second. Good Front coming up on the outside. They turn for home with an 1/8 left to go. As they drive through the stretch, Pine Bud Richard by 1. Brett's Nymph is second. Good Front keeps moving on the outside as they battle through the lane. Pine Bud Richard. Good Front closing on the outside with Brett's Nymph along the rail. Racing down to the wire, it'll be Pine Bud Richard. Good Front at Brett's Nymph. Mile 2:08 and 2. Eleventh and final race, Snowmobile. Island Candy, Forcefield, Cavan's Jimmer, Napa 1, Tracy's Choice, April Seedling, and Spirit Tad on the outside. They're off. Tracy's Choice off the gate is looking for the lead with Forcefield up through the center of the pack. Snowmobile drives along the rail, 3 wide of the turn, and Forcefield comes out of it on top. Snowmobile on the inside. Racing wide is Tracy's Choice. They move up now into the backstretch turn. As they go by the 8, they're on their way to the quarter. Looking for the lead on the outside, Tracy's Choice now shows on top. Forcefield from 2. They battle to the quarter. 2 lengths in back of them. We find Snowmobile, then Cavan's Jimmer. Quarter in 29 and 3/5. They travel on to the upper turn. Up front, Tracy's Choice setting the fractions with Forcefield enjoying a good trip now from 2. Starting to catch up a bit in 3 is Snowmobile with Cavan's Jimmer 4. The rest of the field well back. Island Candy is pacing 5. They move off the turn and into the stretch. They're approaching the halfway point, and it's still Tracy's Choice on top. Forcefield second. Now within 2 lengths is Snowmobile. Cavan's Jimmer follows to the half. Island Candy well back. Moving up on the outside is Napa 1. Following them by here, April Seedling, and your trailer is Spirit Tad. They're at the half in 101 3/5. On they go now into the backstretch turn as they race by the 5/8. Napa 1 is off stride and now trailing. They head into the backstretch, continuing on to the 3/4 with Tracy's Choice still on top. Forcefield second. Gaining ground and moving up from 3 to the outside is Snowmobile. Cavan's Jimmer is driving 4. They reach the 3/4. Tracy's Choice gets them by there in 1:33 3. They move on now to the top turn. Tracy's Choice still looking strong on the front end. She pulls away by 4 lengths. Snowmobile out on the outside is second. At the rail, Forcefield with Cavan's Jimmer. They make the turn for home, and Tracy's Choice holds on to a 4-length lead as they drive through the lane and come to the wire. It's Tracy's Choice. Snowmobile moving up on the outside as they battle to the wire. Tracy's Choice, Snowmobile coming quickly. At the wire, Tracy's Choice holds on. Snowmobile and Cavan. Fourth, Keystone Access, the winner. 5th race, Traveling Sailor, Ocean Street, H.R. Iroquois, Hornby Keith, Brett Sniff, Linfield Canuck, J.B. Striker, Spirit Tad, and Cavan's Jimmer from the back tier. Here they come. They're off and pacing. Linfield Canuck outside looks for the early lead. Driving out between horses as they race to the turn is Ocean Street. Also coming up 3 deep is Hornby Keith, and pacing in along the rail as they make the turn, Traveling Sailor. They go to the 8th. Ocean Street has the top. Hornby Keith outside for 2. Traveling Sailor sits in 3. Cavan's Jimmer 4 on the inside. Linfield Canuck is now moving up to take over 4. Following that group is H.R. Iroquois. Parked outside is Spirit Tad. As they drive by the opening quarter, Brett Sniff is moving up in J.B. Striker. Quarter raced in 30 3/5. They continue on to the top turn, and Ocean Street has the lead. Still parked outside, Hornby Keith. Along the rail is Traveling Sailor. Linfield Canuck moves up as they swing off the top turn. They're heading for the half. In the 5 spot, Cavan's Jimmer, then H.R. Iroquois. H.R. Iroquois now goes to the outside. They pass the grandstand first time, racing by the halfway point, led by Ocean Street. Hornby Keith is still out there second. Linfield Canuck pacing 3. Traveling Sailor, H.R. Iroquois, Cavan's Jimmer with Brett Sniff. Racing behind them as they pass the halfway point is Spirit Tad and J.B. Striker. The half 102 4/5. They continue on to the 5/8. Now into the backstretch for the second time, and Ocean Street is still on top. Hornby Keith second, and now comes back on. Linfield Canuck pacing 3. Traveling Sailor at the rail has 4. H.R. Iroquois stays behind them 5. Cavan's Jimmer looks to get out. They reach the 3/4 in 1:34 1/5. They move on to the top turn, and it's Ocean Street still there. Hornby Keith back at him on the outside. As they swing off the turn, here comes H.R. Iroquois on the extreme outside. 1/8 to go, and they're into the stretch for home. Ocean Street, Hornby Keith, and H.R. Iroquois closing quickly. They travel through the lane and to the wire. Ocean Street, H.R. Iroquois up on the outside. They're battling through the lane. They're not going to catch Ocean Street. H.R. Iroquois will be 2. Tight for 3. We'll have to get a picture for the show spot. Mile was 2:06. 9, Spirit Tad, 6th. Cavan's Jimmer finished 3rd. From the top down, 4. Second race, 5 trotters. First half of the double noble stuff. Remy's Briscoe, Inga's Dream, Captain Jamie. On the outside, Potato Bud. Here they come. They're off and trotting as to get away. Inga's Dream is looking for the early lead. Trotting up on the outside is Captain Jamie. They go to the turn. Noble Stuff in along the rail. Heading up to the 8th into the backstretch, Inga's Dream leads. Noble Stuff second, settling 3. As they make the turn is Captain Jamie. Trotting 4, Remy's Briscoe. Captain Jamie's to the outside, and there goes Noble Stuff. They're 3 wide as they head for the quarter. Noble Stuff now trots to the front. Captain Jamie out 3 deep. Racing along the wood is Inga's Dream. Well back Remy's Briscoe and Potato Bud. Trotting by the quarter, 29 3/5. They move on to the upper turn, and it's Noble Stuff now leading by 1. Captain Jamie's outside second. Racing behind them, Inga's Dream, starting to catch up a bit as Remy's Briscoe and then Potato Bud. They're off the turn. Here they come through the stretch. First time they move up to the half, and Noble Stuff leads by 1. Settling in along the rail a bit, but now comes back to the outside as Captain Jamie. Staying with them 3, Inga's Dream. Remy's Briscoe is 4. And Potato Bud by the half, 1 minute and 3/5. They trot on to the 5/8, going into the backstretch for the second time, and Noble Stuff is still there. Captain Jamie outside second. Inga's Dream getting up closer 3. Remy's Briscoe closes the gap a bit 4, and Potato Bud into the backstretch turn. They're on their way now to the 3/4, and Noble Stuff hangs tough. He's still there by 1/4 of a length. Captain Jamie on the outside stays with him. As they drive by the 3/4, Noble Stuff now by a length. Captain Jamie outside is second, reaching the 3/4, 1:31 3. They got a shot at the track record on the trot. As they go now to the upper turn, it's Noble Stuff. Captain Jamie is still out there. Here comes Remy's Briscoe now to take 3. Dropping back in 4 is Inga's Dream and Potato Bud. They've got an 1/8 to go, and here they come through the lane for home. Noble Stuff holds on to the top. Captain Jamie is still out there and still coming. Here they come to the wire. Noble Stuff, Captain Jamie on the outside. They're both under a drive as they come home. Noble Stuff, Captain Jamie under the wire. It's tight. We'll have to get a picture. 2:03 2. We have a new trotting record. Moving to the winner's circle, the royally bred 4-year-old. The Crookshank Memorial for $25,000. Greener Pastures, Angel Shadow, Morning Joy, High Class Minbar, Wits End, Gypsy, Ambro, Delaware, Willow Bowl, and Miraculous Moment. They're off and pacing. Angel Shadow off the gate first. High Class Minbar drives up on the outside. Greener Pastures in along the rail. As they go to the first turn, it's Greener Pastures showing on top. Angel Shadow parked outside second. Morning Joy now grabs 3, settling into 4, High Class Minbar. As they travel through the backstretch, Wits End Gypsy is pacing from 5. Ambro Delaware has 6. Racing in 7 is Willow Bowl and Miraculous Moment. They race to the opening quarter. Greener Pastures takes them there in 28 seconds flat. They move on now to the upper turn. Greener Pastures by 1 open length. Angel Shadow from 2. Morning Joy sits 3 along the rail. Here comes Wits End's Gypsy now to the outside. They're off the top turn and racing through the stretch. First time to the halfway point. Leading the field as they drive in front of the grandstand. Number 1, Greener Pastures. Wits End's Gypsy's out on the outside. Angel Shadow at the rail. Ambro Delaware now moving. Morning Joy on the inside. High Class Minbar. Willow Bowl moving up. And Miraculous Moment, the half 50, 8 1/5. They travel on now to the 5/8 into the backstretch for the second time. It's still Greener Pastures. Gaining ground outside second. Wits End's Gypsy. Racing 3 at the rail is Angel Shadow. Ambro Delaware now moves up. Following him on the outside is Willow Bowl. They're driving through the backstretch to the 3/4, and Greener Pastures is strong on the front end. Wits End's Gypsy's outside. Angel Shadow looks to get out 3 at the rail. Ambro Delaware shows 4 with Morning Joy 5, 1:27 4/5. They travel now to the top turn. Here comes Wits End's Gypsy with a rush on the outside against Greener Pastures. 1/8 to go, and here they come through the stretch. They got a shot at the track record. They're turning for home. Wits End's Gypsy on the outside. Greener Pastures, Angel Shadow. Willow Bowl is moving up. Morning Joy in the center. At the wire, it'll be Wits End's Gypsy finishing second. Greener Pastures, the mile in 1:57 1/5, the new track record at Sackville Downs.